Hello everyone. I hope this message finds you fit and fine. My name is Shashank Tyagi. Welcome to our Lakshmikant series, Contests means we have to master Indian polity. Today we need to talk about Indian Parliament, one section from where you are going to find short questions in your exam. But devil is in detail here, and we have to tame the devil today. Let's start with the basics. Parliament. It is the legislative organ of Indian political system. When I say legislative organ, it means purpose is to make law. So it is based on Westminster model. So Westminster is a place in Britain where British Parliament is situated. Okay. In part 5, we talk about Parliament, means from Article 79 to 122, which are in part 5 of Indian Constitution, we find provisions with respect to Parliament. Now this is the structure of Parliament. It means Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha and President. Please keep in mind, President is part of Parliament, not member of any house which are considered as part of Parliament. Because when I say Parliament, what comes into your mind? There's a picture, okay, there's a room, big room, members of Parliament are sitting, they're debating, right? That's how your image, you have having image of Parliament, right? But here we are talking about Parliament as a concept. Okay, within this you have 3 components. And why we have the structure? Purpose is, consider a particular bill is actually proposed in this house. Then it will go to other house for scrutiny, for debate, for addition, subtraction, right? If you want to add something, if you want to subtract something, then you have to give this bill back to the Lok Sabha so that they can also be on consensus. Okay? It means both the houses need to be on consensus on one format of the bill. Then it is presented before Honorable President, and when President signs, then this bill becomes an act. It means President is an essential component of lawmaking process. Clear? Now, as I told you, President is part but not member. Does not sit in the Parliament to attend its meetings. Okay? Now, Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha. One set of question can be asked on names because UPSC has asked question on such facts as well. Rajya Sabha, the name is Rajya. Rajya means state. So this is also called as Council of States. And why it is called Council of States? Because members in Rajya Sabha are actually elected by the vote of MLAs of states. It means people like you and me, considering you are not a member of Parliament, you are like you're a student and preparing for civil service exam, right? So we do not vote in Rajya Sabha election. Who votes? State Legislative Assembly members, means MLAs. So it means if MLAs are sending representatives, choosing, this person is going to represent interest of our states at the level of Parliament. That is why, because representing the interest of state at the level of Parliament, that is why it is called Rajya Sabha, okay, or Council of States. Sabha means council, state means Rajya, right? Upper house. Why upper house? Basically, this concept is taken from British Parliament, right? They have House of Commons, lower house, and then House of Lords. Purpose of this House of Lords, and similar to the purpose of Rajya Sabha, was that we are going to bring more experienced people as member in these houses, in this house. People who are not going to fight an ordinary election. Means they won't fight election in which people, means voters are going to vote. Means like people like you and me. But they are intellectual. They have concern for, betterment of India. And they may be having some political clout. So these people can be present in this Rajya Sabha and they can contribute in lawmaking process. And is also called House of Elderlies. As I told you, more experienced people were actually becoming member in House of Lords in Britain. Do we have some fact which is actually proving this House of Adelaide? Yes. If you want to become member of Rajya Sabha, the minimum age required is 30 years. But if you want to become member of Lok Sabha, minimum age required is 25 years. So, senior members you are going to find in Rajya Sabha. Okay. Now, Lok Sabha. Lok means people. Sabha means a house, means a group. We can say council. But in this case, the word uses house of people. House of people. And why house of people? Because adult citizens of India who are registered in voting list, they actually vote for representative in their respective constituencies. It means the members of Lok Sabha are coming from direct election from the people, right? So it means that is why this is house of people, directly representing the interest of people of their area, from which they fought the election and won this election. House of Representatives and lower house. This is upper house, this is lower house. House of Representatives, representatives of people. Now, if I ask, I'm making a statement and you have to tell me the statement is true or false immediately in comment box. Rajya Sabha is considered as first house, Lok Sabha is considered as second house. Statement is true or false? Statement is false. Because Lok Sabha is considered as first house and Rajya Sabha is considered as second house. You will say, sir, these are seniors and they're considered as second house. Yes. And what is the reason behind it? Reason is power of Lok Sabha with respect to some bills. Means in law making process, that is the prime objective of parliament. In law making process, there are some bills in which Lok Sabha has more power than Rajya Sabha, and that is why it is considered as first house. Those bills can only be introduced in Lok Sabha. Which are those bills? What is the process? We are going to talk about it. Clear? Now, composition of two houses, Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. So we need to understand composition, then election process, duration and term, qualification and disqualification of Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. We are going to talk about them together. Okay? Now, composition. 250 is the maximum strength of Rajya Sabha. I am using the word maximum. Okay? But as of now, 229 seats in Rajya Sabha are represented by state. Means state legislative assembly members vote for the members who are going to become member of parliament in Rajya Sabha. Right? So this is for states. 4 seats are representing UTs. Now you will say, sir, all UTs? No. UTs of Delhi, Pondicherry and now Jammu and Kashmir also. Although this composition is mentioned as such as of now, and there was an RTI which was filed recently before Election Commission as well. Ki, sir, as of now you are saying 4 members are going to be represented by UTs, and these UTs which are having MLAs. Means, for example, Delhi and Puducherry, so these are union territories. And the traditional model of union territories, union is going to have control over this territory. But in case of Delhi and Puducherry, this is not the complete case. Because people also elect their respective MLAs. They have legislature. So this power is divided, right? So they have some features of state. And that is why they're also given share, opportunity to participate in election of this Rajya Sabha member. They also have representation. So as of now, 233 are elected and 12 are nominated. It means no election is needed. You only need Kripa of Honorable President. And to be precise, not just Kripa of President. President is going to be given a list by Council of Minister headed by Prime Minister. So please appoint these people as Rajya Sabha members. So President will nominate you. Okay? So 12 members nominated, right? I think this is clear. So as of now, the total strength is 245. Maximum is 250. But 5 seats are not being used. Now representation of state. How representation is ensured? So there are 3, you can say, major questions here. First is voting. who is going to vote in Rajya Sabha member election? As I told you, MLAs of these states in 2 UTs. Third is also added, Jammu and Kashmir. Seats. So seats are based on population. It means compare the population of Uttar Pradesh with Goa. Do you think Uttar Pradesh and Goa are going to have equal number of seats in Rajya Sabha? True or false? No, there's a difference. And why the difference? Because in Uttar Pradesh there's more population, so it is considered, since they are more populated, they need more representation in Rajya Sabha. Okay, so population is a criteria. Third, process. What is the process of election? Proportional representation and single transferable vote, like we discussed in case of president election and vice president election. I hope you remember. So this is the gist you can remember. Representative states are elected by the elected members of state legislative assemblies. As I told you, seats are allocated to the state basis of population. Okay? If I ask how seat allocation in the upper house of Indian Parliament is different from the upper house of US legislature, tell me, because in one of my previous video I told you this. Come on. There's a difference. And difference is every state in USA is allotted 2 seats. There's no criteria of population in US legislature. But we have population as a basis. Okay? So please remember these details, because sometimes UPSC asks question, make the statement comparative in nature. Okay? Elections are held with a system of proportional representation, single transfer vote. I explained you this in president election as well. Now representation of UTs, Delhi, Pondicherry, Jammu and Kashmir. So voting done by MLAs. But there's an interesting twist here. If UPSC make a statement, as mentioned in Constitution, in election for Rajya Sabha members, Delhi, Pondicherry or Jammu Kashmir name is yet to be added in Indian Constitution with respect to UTs. So consider they are going to use Jammu and Kashmir when it is added, are done by MLAs. My point is, our Constitution has not specifically mentioned this, that in UTs representation is going to be ensured by MLAs voting. There's a twist here. So what's the reality? Reality is this. Representative of each union territory in the Rajya Sabha are indirectly elected. Indirect election happens. In Rajya Sabha, there's no concept of direct election. Please keep in mind. Right? There's no concept of direct election, because when I say direct election, what does it mean? It means people like you and me are voting in Rajya Sabha. Right? There's concept of indirect election in Rajya Sabha because MLAs vote, not we people directly. Okay? Members of an electoral college specially constituted for the purpose. So this is mentioned, right? And who are the part of special college, constituted for this purpose? MLAs. So practically MLAs are voting, but specifically word MLA was not mentioned. Okay? Elections are held with a system of proportional representation and single transfer vote, and seat allocation is done on population. That is why Delhi is having representation of 3 Rajya Sabha MPs, but when it comes to Pondicherry, it is having only 1. Jammu Kashmir case is yet to be decided. When I am making this video, as there is an update by government, I am going to update this in my Telegram channel. You can reach out by Shashank Tyagi for you. You can just type. And if you have any doubt whatsoever from any section of Indian polity which you find there's tough, or some article in which you are struggling, you can shoot me a message on Telegram also. That is shashank.powerbeing, or you can search Shashank Tyagi for you. I can be reached on Instagram on this as well. Now, nominated members. The president can nominate 12 members and nominated members. Do you remember Sachin Tendulkar, Rajya Sabha MP? Also, Rekha, actor, Bollywood actress, Rajya Sabha MP. How these people become Rajya Sabha MP? They did not fought Rajya Sabha election. They were nominated, right? And what are the bases? There are 4 bases: art, literature, science and social service. And if a statement is made, Sachin Tendulkar was nominated in Rajya Sabha in the category of sports persons, contribution is sports. Tell me that statement would be true or false? That would be false, because there is no such category of sports. It is art, literature, science and social service. He was appointed under category of social service, because when he used to play, then whole nation used to get united. That Sachin, right? So that is why you should remember these details. Now, duration and term of Rajya Sabha. Rajya Sabha is a permanent house. It is a continuing chamber. It means it is not dissolved. When I say dissolved, it means there will be no point where there is no member in Rajya Sabha. You would say, sir, what does it mean? Compare with Lok Sabha, na? In Lok Sabha, when general elections happen, so before that, these people were Lok Sabha member, and it may be possible that Lok Sabha is dissolved and now fresh elections are going to be held. So when Lok Sabha is dissolved, it means it is done. Now there is no person representing a particular constituency in Lok Sabha. Now election need to be happen, need to be there. Although election commission ensures that before completion of tenure, elections are held, right? But the point is, Lok Sabha can be dissolved. Dissolved means no member. But this is not the case of Rajya Sabha. It's a continuing chamber. So how it is ensured? It is ensured by this formula. 1/3 of its members retired every second year. What does it mean? Consider 20 plus 20 plus 20 equal to 60. Okay? So consider, we suppose that 60 is the total strength of Rajya Sabha. Okay? So we are just making this up to simplify things for you. Okay? So this is the total strength. Out of the total strength, 1/3 of its member retired every second year. So now 1/3 member. 1/3 is this. 1/3, right? 20 member. So now these 20 member need to retire every second year. So consider these are retired means in 2022. Okay? 1/3 will retire every second year, means now in the next second year, after 2 years, these are going to retire and these are going to retire in say 2024, right? Now what about them? 2026, right? Now think of these members. So these came into house in 2022. So 23, 24, 24, 25, 26 means it's been 4 years. 22 to 26, it's been 4 years. Still, they are in Rajya Sabha. Now next election has to happen after 2 years. So now 2 more years are going to be used. So now these people whom we actually discussed as the first, now these people are in position for 6 years. Right or wrong? Yes. So it means there will be no point where all the members of the Rajya Sabha are means they are losing their membership at one point. Okay? This will not be a case that their term will complete, together. This difference has been created in completion of their term. Clear? Now why? Why this formula? Why this arrangement was made? So that there remains a permanent house. Means there should be no point in the history and the future of Indian political system when there is no house. Means there's no possibility that no house is there. There may be a possibility that we need to discuss some important issues. So there should be one house, right? So Rajya Sabha will be working. Rajya Sabha will be available. Okay? Now, I'm asking one more statement. Constitution specifically mentions Rajya Sabha members' tenure to be 6 years. Now tell me the statement is true or false. Statement is false. Because Constitution has not mentioned this 6-year term for Rajya Sabha member. Constitution has mentioned this arrangement, and this arrangement itself mean that a person got appointed, this elected in 2022 will remain till 2028, right? So UPSC will play on these words. Please remember. Retiring members are eligible for re-election any number of time. And there is no foundation on age as well. You are 110 years of age and you have ambition to become Rajya Sabha member, congratulations. You can become. Okay? Constitution has not fixed the term of Rajya Sabha. As I told you, there can be a question. Constitution has not fixed. Is it mentioned somewhere? Yes, it is mentioned in a law made by Parliament, which Parliament made later. I'm talking about RPA, Representation of People Act 1951. This mentions that Rajya Sabha members shall be for 6 years. Okay? So mentioned in a law made by Parliament but not in Constitution. Clear? Now qualification for the members. Should be citizen, 30 years of age, any such qualifications which are declared by the Parliament. And where Parliament declares such qualification? Representation of People Act. So he must be registered as an elector of a parliamentary constituency. Means if you want to become a Rajya Sabha member, you should actually at least be registered in a voting list in any constituency in India, right? And if you want to fight for a Rajya Sabha seat which is in reserved category, say SC and ST, then you must be actually registered as SC and SC in any of the constituency, any of the state. Means he must be a member of scheduled caste, scheduled tribe in any state UT if he wants to contest seat reserved for them. Okay. However, people of SC ST category can also contest from unreserved seat. Okay. For reserved seat, SC ST is going to fight. But if you want to fight, you need to be registered as SC and ST in any of the state or UT. Now, my question to you, and this question I am giving to you. You have to find the answer and let me know in comments. You know that there is difference in the SC list of many states. It means that a person may be registered as SC, may get a certificate that yes, this person belongs to scheduled caste. But if this person goes to another state, it may be possible that other state is not recognizing that person as a scheduled caste. If such differentiation happens, does it have some impact on Rajya Sabha election as well? Means if you are getting elected from representing UP from Rajya Sabha, UP in Rajya Sabha, so is it mandatory that you should have a certificate of that SC category which is recognized as SC category in UP? If you are having a SC category from say some other state, say Andhra Pradesh, but that category is not recognized as SC category in Uttar Pradesh, now tell me, can you still become a Rajya Sabha member representing UP? Or you need to fight for Rajya Sabha election from Andhra Pradesh? Interesting twist. Search about it and let me know in comments. Purpose of these kind of questions is to open your mind. If you develop this skill set in polity, there can be no question in exam which you cannot mark correctly or answer in a fluent manner at the mains level. Now, oath. Oath is given by President to all Rajya Sabha members. Now we need to talk about Lok Sabha, composition, election process, duration, qualification and disqualification. We need to talk together after this. Lok Sabha. Lok Sabha, only elected members are there. There's no nominated member case. Please remember it. Earlier there were 2 seats of Anglo-Indians in Lok Sabha, but now there's no mention of 2 seats because it was removed in 2020. Maximum 552, but as of now 530 are representing states, 13 UTs, it means total 543. Okay, and this Anglo-Indian case is removed. This is composition. Representation of states, directly elected. I told you in case of Lok Sabha, direct election happens. There is no case of indirect elections in case of Lok Sabha. Okay, indirect election happens in Rajya Sabha. and there is no case of direct election in Rajya Sabha. So this is opposite. Easy to remember, right? Elections are based on principle of universal adult franchise. What does it mean? Voting is going to be done by those citizens who are adult and registered as voter in electoral, list of election commission. Representation of union territories chosen by direct election held in union territories. For example, Delhi. Delhi is a union territory. So there are 7 seats. There are 7 constituencies in Delhi, right? So now on these seats, now representation by union territories chosen directly, direct election happens, as Delhi is also divided into Lok Sabha constituencies. People, give vote in Lok Sabha election, and these representatives represent respective constituencies in Lok Sabha. Okay. Nominated members are removed. Okay. Now easy to remember. States direct election in Lok Sabha, UT also direct election in Lok Sabha. States indirect election in Rajya Sabha, UT's indirect election in Rajya Sabha. And who votes? In case of Lok Sabha, universal adult franchise, and you should have registered voter in voting list, and in this case MLAs vote. Clear? Now system of elections in Lok Sabha. As I told you, direct election. But how constituencies are actually made? How division of constituency happens? So please remember, this is the logic. Means number of Lok Sabha MP seats which need to be allocated to a state divided by population. This ratio needs to be same so that there can be uniformity with respect to number of seats allocated to different states in Lok Sabha. There should be no biasness. To remove this biasness, this formula was made. Okay, this was the basis. So allocated a number of seats in the Lok Sabha in such a manner that the ratio, as I told you directly, ratio between the number and its population is same for all states. There can be a statement on this in your exam. The provision does not stand for states having population less than 6 million. If less than 6 million, then this formula need not to be applied. Each state is divided into territorial constituencies. It means area is divided. Okay. In case of Rajya Sabha, there is no such territorial constituency, no territorial representation. There is proportional representation. If you are a Rajya Sabha MP, you are representing the interest of whole state, from where you got elected, from where MLAs of that state voted for you. But in case of Lok Sabha, constituencies are divided territorially, right? For example, wherever you are living in India, you should also know that your area is also representing one territorial constituency, right? Such manner that the ratio between population of each constituency and number of seats allotted same throughout the state. In simple terms, there should be uniformity in representation throughout the constituencies. Okay, area, population. And readjustment after each census. So idea was, since population is a criteria regarding allocation of constituencies, area of constituencies, so population changes. So constituency also change, but this constituency change did not happen. Means we followed this 1971 census. The reason was, after 1971, government initiated and called upon state that they should actually take steps so that population, growth rate can decrease, right? Population should be managed. Southern states did fairly well in that. States like Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, they have done good job when it comes to managing population. But the states like Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, these northern states, so they have progressed in terms of population. Now, if we revisit the census, and if we use say updated census, say 1991 or 2001, so don't you think there will be a huge gap between the population, right? Earlier in 1971, consider the gap was this, but these people managed population, so that is how they increased to this level. But the other states, say northern states, they increased in this level. So there's a huge gap. Don't you think if population is the criteria for allocation of seats, now it will be wrong for the southern states? Because they have less population, they may be allocated less number of seats. Now southern states will say, oh, this is wrong for us. Means we did good. Means it is like we have done our homework and we are punished for that. our representation in Lok Sabha is reducing, right? So, in the backdrop of this logic, 42nd Constitutional Amendment Act 1976 happened. It froze the allocation of seats in the Lok Sabha, froze. 84th Amendment Act 2001 happened, extended this ban on readjustment for another 25 years, that is still 2026. We are living in 2022. 2026, 84th Amendment says they should be frozen. 87th Amendment Act proposed one idea. It said, let's do one thing. Major contention is that southern states are saying and the states are saying we have done well, we managed our population growth rate, and it would be injustice for us. Let's do one thing. We are not going to change the number of seats allocated to states in Lok Sabha. Let's do the internal readjustment. The boundaries of states can be changed, provided for the delimitation of constituencies on the basis of 2001 census without altering the number of seats allotted to each state in Lok Sabha. So this was a middle path. I hope it is clear. Reservation of seats for SC and STs. I'm making a statement, you have to tell me statement is true or false. There's a mandatory reservation for SCs and STs for all states and UTs with regard to representation in Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. Now tell me the statement is true or false. Let me reframe this sentence. UPSC can also say there's a mandatory minimum number of seats which need to be reserved in Parliament, if say Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha, from every state and UT. Now the statement is true or false? You would say, sir, it is true. Right? I think now you're clear with the readjustment after census, right? Please remember the amendments. Now, reservation of seats for SCs and STs. What it says, Constitution provides for reservation of seats for SCs and STs in Lok Sabha on the basis of population ratio. Originally, this provision was for 10 years, but later it was extended. Under 95th Amendment, 2009, the reservation will last until 2020. But 84th Amendment Act 2001 provided for refixing the reserved seats on the basis of population 1991. Then 87th Amendment says 2001. Purpose is that yes, SC/ST reservation is there based on population. Demand is that we need to reassess this on the basis of 2001 census. Proportional representation is not adopted. Why proportional representation is not adopted in the case of Lok Sabha? It is there in Rajya Sabha, not in Lok Sabha. These are the reasons. First of all, we are following territorial representation in Lok Sabha. Means territories are divided, right? So now, this is easy. Okay, this is less expensive. Every member of the legislature represents a geographical area. This is the meaning of territorial representation. Okay, that is why we call it constituency. From each constituency, only one member represents. It is not possible that from one constituency, two MPs are saying, I am also MP from this constituency. No, this cannot happen. Because we follow the system of single member constituency. One person is going to win the election. In this system, candidate who secures majority vote is declared elected. Simple majority system of representation does not represent this whole electorate. That is why this system is used. It means, clear as the simple point is that consider that there are 100 members in a constituency. And out of them, only 30 people came out of their home and voted. And there are other members as well. Other members say different parties. So out of this 100, only 30 came. Out of this 30, consider you were fighting the election. You got, say, 9 votes. Okay. Others got, say, 3 votes, 4 votes, 6 votes, etc. till this complete to 30. Now, since you are getting, maximum vote out of these votes, you will be declared as winner. You will be declared as winner. Congratulations. But this is also a basis of criticism. That out of 100 members in constituency, only 9 members supported you. And now you are going to be representative of all 100 members. This simple majority concept, the last point, is not used Because simple majority concept says, okay, those who are voting, say 30, at least you should get more than 50% of the people who voted. But no one would actually get more than 50% of the people voted. This will be quite difficult, right? You have to then conduct election again and again. There's a system in Europe. We call it second ballot system. I think it is clear now. Proportional representation of for the general election is not adopted. Why it was not adopted? Difficulty for the voters to understand the system. I hope you remember when I was telling you ballot paper, multiple, you can say, options. I was explaining you this in President chapter, right? So it would be quite difficult. Unsuitable for the parliamentary government due to tendency of the system, because there are different political parties and we need to ensure clear majority, right? And there may be a possibility that there are multiple parties coming together and then forming, you can say, government. So this will become actually quite cumbersome. It is highly expensive. Highly expensive, why? Because in general election, you are using this territorial, representation. You have EVMs on different booths, and we know there can be voting. From these booths, these many votes were actually given to this party or this candidate. But in this case, you have to recount. You have to use this ballot, right? So this would be quite tough. It does not give any scope for organizing by-election. By-election possibility is not there. It eliminates intimate contact between voters and representatives. Because if there's territorial representation, you know that I represent this particular territory. You will come to these people. You will ask them their vote. You will interact with them. Otherwise, they are not going to vote you in the next election. Because people know exactly who is our representative, point of contact. But in proportional representation, you will be representing the whole state. There are now 100 people representing the whole state. Whose door we should actually knock? Who should be the direct person who is directly responsible? Right? There should be some direct responsibility. Promotes minority thinking, group interest. Minority thinking is not a negative sense. It is in positive sense. That you should think about your constituency, your group. Increases significance of the party and decreases of the voter. If we adopt this. Now, term. So, normal term is 5 years. Okay, it is not a permanent chamber. President can dissolve the Lok Sabha at any time if get recommendation from the Honorable Prime Minister. The term of Lok Sabha can be extended during national emergency, I told you, 1 year at a time till infinity. Means any length of time because no boundation there. Qualification for member of Lok Sabha, citizen of India, 25 years of age, and this is oath. Must possess qualification prescribed by Parliament, and qualification mentioned in Representation of People Act, right? Registered as an elector in parliamentary constituency, and then SC angle, ST angle is same, like we discussed in Rajya Sabha. Oath is given by President. Disqualifications. Office of profit, unsound mind. If person is, has gone mad and court has declared, then it means that person won't be able to continue his duty or her duty. Undischarged insolvent. You have taken so much loan that your known sources of income and your total assets are not going to be pay that loan back. It means you cannot be trusted with public money. Not a citizen of India. Consider you got elected as MP in India, Lok Sabha MP, but you went to US and there you fall in love with a girl, if you're a girl, then you with a boy there, and you got married and you actually applied for the citizenship there. So our authorities will be intimated about your, wonders there. Okay, so they will give you blessings in a way, ma'am or sir. Your citizenship is revoked, first of all, and because this is the criteria for a Lok Sabha membership, so you need not to come to Parliament because now your Lok Sabha membership is taken away. Clear? She is disqualified any law made by Parliament. If Parliament make a law that if this person does this, then this person will be disqualified. So these laws will be applicable on disqualification. Now, with disqualification, you need to remember three broad categories, three categories. One is Constitution. If you flout the rule which is mentioned in Constitution, like citizen of India. Second is mentioned under RPA, like we are talking about. And third is anti-defection law, 10th schedule. So these are the three broad categories on the basis of which any member of Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha can be disqualified. Okay, I told you we are talking about Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha disqualification together. He must not have been found guilty in certain election offences. You fraudulently won the election and now it is proved, disqualified. If it is found that, consider you were engaged in a murder, means you did a murder. Taking your example, take it lightly. So you are convicted for 5 years and at that point of time you were sitting Lok Sabha MP. So you will be disqualified because 5 years is more than 2 years. Account of elections, you did not give the account of election to Election Commission. This can be a basis of disqualification too. If you are interested in some government contract, it means you took some government contract. That is also wrong. It can be a basis. If there's a company in which more than 25% you can say stake is with government and you are managing director there. So it means you are drawing some profit from there. So this will be counted as office of profit and you can be disqualified. Dismissed from government service, consider you are an IAS officer and you got dismissed from service on corruption charge or disloyalty to the state. And now you thought, okay, I am dismissed. Now I am going to fight election and be part of Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha. You cannot. Because Representation of People Act says that dismissed from government service on charge of corruption. So is there a way out for you? Is there a scope for your political career? Yes, there can be. If you appeal in Supreme Court and Supreme Court actually changed this, you can say earlier judgment, and it is proved that no, you were not engaged in corruption, then that's a possibility. But if you are dismissed on this basis and this is the paradigm given by court, then you are gone. Your political career is finished. Obviously, I am talking about Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha. Okay. He must not have been convicted for promoting enmity between different groups. If you are found that you are doing hate speech and due to which there's riot going on and you are convicted for the same, then you are also gone. He must not have been punished for practicing social crimes. Consider that you have taken dowry and your wife has filed a case and it's proved that, yeah, dowry harassment happened. Then my friend, your political career is also finished. Disqualification. Untouchability or sati. Okay, untouchability is also there. Please remember, because UPSC play on these kind of details. Okay, this is also a basis of disqualification from Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha. Now, disqualification on ground of defection. As I told you, third criteria is anti-defection law. So, if consider you got elected on a party ticket, say Aam Aadmi Party, but you voluntarily give up the membership of the political party on whose ticket you are elected, then you are going to be disqualified. Please remember it. Okay. Now I am making another statement. Let's go into depth. Consider you got elected on Aam Aadmi Party ticket in Lok Sabha, but you did not give up the membership voluntarily. Actually, party kicked you out. Now tell me, if party has kicked you out, now tell me, do you think your Lok Sabha membership is going to be, you as a Lok Sabha member is going to be disqualified? Answer is no. You will still be Lok Sabha MP. But if party has kicked you out and you have joined another party, say BJP or Congress, then you will be disqualified. Okay? If he abstains from if party has told you that on this bill you have to vote in favor, but you said no. In Shashank sir's class, I have read Article 19. In Article 19, freedom of speech and expression, I am going to use it. I am going to vote against what my party is saying. So my friends, I am not going to come to save your seat, because you must read this chapter as well. As I am telling you, this will be a basis of your disqualification. Okay? If any independently elected member joins political party, there are some members who get this Lok Sabha seat or Rajya Sabha seat independently, without fighting on a seat ticket of any party. So if they joins any other party now, this will be a ground of disqualification. Now these criteria are for elected members. Now for nominated. Consider Sachin Tendulkar. So within 6 months, if you want to join any party, you can join that party. But after 6 months are passed, after expiry of 6 months, if you join now any party, then it will be a ground of disqualification. Now, who is going to disqualify on the basis of anti-defection, on the basis of defection? Defection means you are changing your party. So this decision is taken for Rajya Sabha by Rajya Sabha chairman and Lok Sabha by Lok Sabha Speaker. Please remember it. Now, vacating seats in Parliament. So, on what basis a seat can be vacant? Double membership. Consider you are fighting from 2 seats and 1 from 2 seats. Consider you are fighting Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha and you got elected in both. So, double membership. In case of double membership, 1 seat is going to, you need to actually vacate. Disqualification, resignation, absence, others cases. Let's understand them one by one. Double membership. UPSC can ask question from here. Please remember it. Understand it. A person cannot be a member of both the houses. Okay, you have to be a member of one house from 1 seat. You need not to show heroism. You need not to become hero here because provision does not allow you to do so. Representation of People Act provides for the following, that if you are actually elected to both the houses, then you must intimate within 10 days which house, which seat you want to leave. In default, if you have not intimated, in this case, your Rajya Sabha seats is going to be vacant. Okay, if you are getting elected to both house, Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha. If a sitting member of one house, you are already a member of one house. Okay, you are fighting just one election for the other house. Also elected to the other house, his seat in the first house becomes vacant. Because now it will be considered that you are not satisfied with your membership in one house. That is why you are fighting for the other house, right? If a person is elected to the 2 seats in house, for example, Modi ji fought election from Varanasi as well as Vadodara, right? So he should exercise option for choosing one. Otherwise, both will go. Okay. Disqualification. So first was double membership. In this case, seat can be vacant. Now disqualification. If a member of parliament becomes subject to any disqualification, be it constitution, be it RPA or anti-defection. So these are the 3 criteria. So this can be a ground of vacation. Resignation. You can give resignation to Rajya Sabha chairman if you're a Rajya Sabha member. You can give resignation to speaker if you're a Lok Sabha member. Absence. If you have not intimated, took permission of Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha and you are absent for more than 60 days, then this can be a basis of declaring that now you are not member of our house. On this absence, on the basis of absence, your seat will be vacant. Now other cases, a member has to vacate his seat in the parliament if election is declared void. It is found that you fought election on fraudulent basis. Expelled from the house, elected to the office of president, vice president, is appointed to the office of governor of a state. Obviously, on these basis, you need to vacate your seat. Now, just attempt this question. Which of the following statement are not correct about the Lok Sabha Speaker? Lok Sabha Speaker is elected by the Lok Sabha from amongst its members. We need to talk about presiding officers in the next class, but I am bringing this question so that you can read a bit. The date of election of Lok Sabha Speaker is fixed by President of India. M.A. Iyengar was the first Lok Sabha Speaker. It is true that Lok Sabha Speakers now, please remember, Lok Sabha Speaker, for example, Mr. Om Birla from Kota. Lok Sabha Speaker is always a person who is member of Lok Sabha, right? And there is no nominated member, it means elected, right? And the election date is decided by Honorable President. So Lok Sabha Speaker is elected from amongst his members, and the date of election of Lok Sabha Speaker is fixed by President of India. Okay? Please remember, in Lok Sabha Speaker case, only Lok Sabha members are going to vote. Okay? All Lok Sabha members. The very first Lok Sabha Speaker was G.V. Mavalankar. In this question, M.A. Iyengar is given. That is why 1 and 2 is correct. Clear? So this PDF is going to be available in Shashank Tyagi for you Telegram group. I hope now you are clear with these aspects of Parliament. In the next lecture, we are going to talk about presiding officers of the Parliament. See you.